Welcome to the Delvin Cox Experience, the podcast in which each week I am on a one-man mission to unite our culture through diversity. I'm your host, Delvin Cox, and this week on the podcast, I have a special guest. Let them know who you are.
I'm Abigail Thomas, and I am the host of the Manic Pixie Weirdo Podcast.
That is a hell of a name for a podcast.
Yep.
We will get into that in a minute. But as always, we start the podcast with the 5 for 5. 5 questions, 5 answers to get the ball rolling.
Oh, no.
Abby, are you ready?
I guess, as ready as I can be.
All right. Question number 1. What is the best album or song you listened to in the past year?
I don't know. I have like a couple. I really liked the 9 Inch Nails album. Really liked it. But the Dia Lupita one was really good too. I guess we'll go with those two.
Okay. I don't know who it was. Somebody was playing 9 Inch Nails for me. I don't remember who it was. I don't know.
It's really good. It's really good.
I like what I heard though.
Yeah, it's really good.
Question number 2. It's okay. It's not a test.
I feel like I'm on a game show. It's so great. Who wants to be a millionaire?
That's a good idea. All right. If you could have any superpowers you want, what would you have?
Oh. If I could have any superpower, what would it be?
Any one
of them. I mean, my first initial instinct is to go with invisibility, but I kind of also wish I could like change physical form, like into like another animal or something. So I think I'm going to go with that one. Yeah.
Like Beast Boy from the Teen Titans.
Yeah. Or something. But like it could be any animal form. Like I could just choose at will what form I wanted to take.
I like that. That's a good one.
That
is unique.
I like it. That's the one I want. Yeah.
Okay. Question number 3. What is the dumbest thing you think you ever done as a kid?
Oh my God. So much stuff. So much stuff. I mean, I guess like the first thing that comes to mind was I wasn't really like a kid, like pre-18, but I was still like a child, definitely. I was not mature enough to be considered legally an adult. But me and a friend for 4th of July one year bought like $400 worth of fireworks. And we went out. He had this big property in like Indiana or somewhere. And we decided that for the finale, we were going to set off all the fireworks all at once. So we like rigged all the wicks to like go. So when we lit one, it would like do a ripple effect and it would light all of them. I don't think we actually saw any of the fireworks go off because we were running for our lives. And it just exploded. I mean, it went everywhere. Like we were ducking under the car because it was just like, yeah, I'm surprised we didn't blow ourselves up.
I 100% would have done that. They would have sat there and watched every last one of them go off. Damn if I get blown up.
Yeah. Yeah. We were like running for the hills.
I might have done something that stupid before.
Yeah.
I do a lot of stupid things.
It was so much fun, though. It was so much fun.
There's one I can tell you about. That is a firework that they have. I don't know if they still sell it. It's shaped like a little tank.
Ooh.
And it shoots out sparkler balls.
Oh, I don't know. I want that, though.
I used to buy those a lot. And one time, I used one of them. And it was, I guess it was defective.
Oh,
and the sparkler balls, instead of going out the way of the cannon slot, it went out the opposite way and immediately was just firing at me.
Oh, no.
So I'm running around, ducking from these sparkler shots that's shooting at me. Yeah.
Duck and cover for real, though. We also shot Roman candles at each other, like not in the air, like at each other. So I think that counts too.
What is it about fireworks that make Americans so stupid? Because we do a lot of dumb things like that.
It's so great. You hear all these like ridiculous stories, like the day after the 4th of July, of like some idiot was like, "I'm gonna put one on my head," and it's like, maybe not a good idea.
Yeah. And you always hear stories like that happening. People putting fireworks up their butt and on their heads, and like, why are you doing that?
What would you do that for?
But it's always a thing.
There is always one person.
Right. Question number 4. Who is your dream guest for your podcast?
Who is my dream guest for my podcast? Oh my goodness.
Living or dead, by the way.
Living or dead. Oh,
yes.
Jesus. Oh, there's so many. I mean, right now at the moment, I'm sort of like on like a true crime kind of a vibe right now, I guess. Yes. So Damien Eccles, I would love to get Damien Eccles on my podcast. That would be amazing.
Okay, let everybody know who that is.
He was one of the West Memphis 3 who got he was on death row for a crime he definitely did not commit. And he's now out, and he's like an advocate for people who, like, for incarcerated citizens and people who are on death row and people who were convicted, like wrongfully convicted. So him, or I would really love to have like J.K. Rowling or Tolkien, because I'm a huge nerd. So
I can tell by the Albert Einstein picture in the background.
Yeah. And the Hogwarts shirt. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a little indicator.
A little bit.
All right. Question number 5. Zombie apocalypse happens, Walking Dead style. You're going to take 5 things to go out in the world to survive. What are the 5 things you're going to take with you? And it could be anything you want to take.
Anything I want to take.
Pets and family don't count, by the way. They automatically come with you.
Okay. So I'm going to take my friend Mary Jane because we need to chill. Everybody's going to need to just chill out for a little bit.
Might be good with zombies. Might give a little Mary Jane.
You never know.
They relax.
Yeah. A knife. It doesn't preferably a large knife, not like a kitchen knife.
So like Rambo's knife. From like First Blood or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. What else? Oh, a flashlight with like extra batteries, or one of those like cool ones that you can just like shake and it like stays alive.
I had one of those. Those are pretty good.
Really? I've never had one, but that would be a good one to have.
My grandmother has a bad habit of buying stupid stuff that we don't need. and this stupid stuff always ended up in my possession for some reason. And that was one of those things that she bought, like that, a shake weight.
Right. Well, I'm definitely guilty of like buying the stuff that's like as seen on TV at Walgreens or whatever. I'm like, I'll try it, and like it never works. So okay, so that's 3. An extra pair of tennis shoes, because I definitely feel like running is going to be involved.
That's a good point.
And I don't know if I could carry a generator, like a portable generator, but
carry it. I will allow it.
Yeah. Okay. Then a portable generator.
That makes
sense. Everything else I'll make my husband carry.
That's a good idea. That's what husbands are here for, to carry all the stuff you want to carry.
All this shit. Like, here, take these. We don't need these purses. Yes, we do.
So, tell everybody a little bit about yourself for those who don't know you.
Okay. I'm 27 years old. I live in Texas, in the Dallas metro area. I have a podcast called the Manic Pixie Weirdo, where we talk about relationships with all different kinds of stuff. I am. Sorry.
I was on there at one point in time.
Yes, you were, and it was very fun. And we want to have you back.
Awesome.
I'm also a voice actress, so I do like I don't you wouldn't ever like see my face on anything. Like
You
I
have to
just
name some of the stuff you did now, because that
okay.
I love voice actors.
I did. I helped this motivational speaker, Eric Thomas, with a motivational video that he used in, I believe, I don't know if it was on a social media platform or if he actually used it in one of his presentations that he gives, but I helped
Okay.
him with that.
Cool.
I am sort of, I'm in the process of being a voice for a video game
Can you say
character.
what game?
It's called it's a play off of this other game called Half-Life that came out, I believe, in like the 90s. It was set in New
Oh,
Mexico, kind of post-apocalyptic, but this is like the revamped version of it, and it's called Hard Life. I believe it's still in like alpha form right now, but you can go check out the trailer for it on YouTube, called Hard Life. So
there's a lot of gamers that listen to this podcast, so they'll be very excited to hear that.
yeah, it looks really cool. The trailer made it look really, really cool. And so they like my character, he wanted it to be based off of Kate Beckinsale's character in the Underworld series.
Cool.
So yeah. I'm not sure when it comes out though. So just like but you can go check out the trailer. So do that.
Awesome.
And then I've just done a bunch of like little things here and there for I do audiobooks. So like if you have Audible, I am
I,
a
I have Audible.
I'm a narrator. So I will read you books.
Is there anything that I would know off the top of my head?
Probably not at the moment, no, because I just got started. So I'm
Okay.
pretty new to the game.
Because I listen to a lot of nerdy books on Audible. A lot of Star Wars stuff.
Well, speaking of the apocalypse, there is a book series that I'm in the process of narrating right now. It's called The Risen. And
Okay.
it is it's a post-apocalyptic zombie kind of thing. And it's two parts right now. I'm working on part 1, but part 2 will be coming soon. I'm not sure what the release date is for the audiobook, but I'm pretty sure you can still go like buy them on Amazon right now. So
Okay. So I'll check that out.
yeah,
That's
they're pretty good.
So what got you into voice acting, for one thing?
Well, I've always kind of wanted to be in the entertainment world. I'm also a writer, so I've been working on a bunch of like just like books and like scripts and stuff. Turns out it takes a lot longer than like I originally thought that it would. But so I was gonna try to like I'm going to try and do it that way, but I've always wanted to be in the entertainment industry in some form or fashion. So this was just a way that I was able to do it like at home, like right now, and make some money doing it.
Have you ever looked at some of the other voice actors and said, yeah, I want to be like this guy? Like, for example, Troy Baker is a well-known voice actor in video games and stuff like that.
No, actually I haven't. I look more at like Robin Williams is like one of my favorite comedians, but he's also an incredible voice actor. I mean,
yes.
I cried when he died. Like, I'm not kidding. I for sure cried when he died.
Yep. I get that. I think I shed a little tear when Robin Williams died too, because he was part of my childhood. Like Mork and Mindy was my jam.
Oh yeah, well, and I mean, he was my gene. I mean, I love as much as I love Will Smith. I'm sorry, but Robin Williams will forever be my genie, like in Aladdin.
I will tell you this little tidbit about that. For a long time, I didn't want to watch the remake of Aladdin because of that. And yeah, I didn't want to watch it, and it just so happened that my daughter wanted to watch it one day. I said, you know what, we'll watch it together, and we loved it. We absolutely loved it because Will Smith did such a different take on it.
Mm-hmm.
I fell in love with the movie, and I feel like I could watch both of those movies, knowing they're two completely different movies. But I didn't watch it for a long time.
Yeah, no, I definitely like put it off. We saw it in theaters, but it was like sort of towards the end, where they didn't have like a lot more showings or whatever. But I was just like adamantly against doing it because I was like, Robin Williams is my genie. But they also did a lot of stuff with the plot that I like they sort of modernized it. I did enjoy it. I had a really good time, and the music was awesome.
It's one of those few Disney remakes that's so different than the original movie. I think it's worth watching. Like,
oh yeah. I didn't like Cinderella. Yeah, I didn't really like Cinderella. I took my little sister to see Cinderella, and I was kind of like, it was all right. But she was like 8 at the time, so she had a good time, which, I was like, that's what matters.
Yeah, I think I watched a couple of them. I'm like, I'm not a fan of this. I rather, for this, I can just watch the original one. So I didn't. I kind of didn't want to watch Aladdin, and I love Will Smith, but I was like, I don't want to watch this without Robin Williams. It feels weird.
It does.
And then my daughter wanted to see it, so I'm like, all right, we can watch it together. We watched it. We loved it. We absolutely loved the movie. I'm like, this is really, really good.
Right? It was. I was shocked. Good. I was too. I was like, wow. They like. I mean, I don't know if that was because I went into it and my expectations were like kind of super low that it just like blew me out of the water. But I mean, I still thought it was. I thought it was good.
Yeah. I thought it was good so much. I kind of want to see Mulan.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of heat around it right now. I haven't really like looked into what all that's about, but I mean, I love the animated version and I'm willing to try it. I'm willing to see, especially if like we have Disney Plus, and if I don't necessarily have to like go pay to see it, if I can just like watch it on like the smart TV or whatever.
Did you hear the thing about that?
No.
Okay. No. I can explain to you what's going on with that. You can watch Mulan now on Disney Plus, but it's $30 right now, extra. But if you wait till December, you can watch it for free with your Disney Plus subscription.
I can wait. It's not that important. I can wait.
Yeah, I felt the same way. So I can wait.
I'll wait. It's fine. There are very few things that I have to have right now, and that's not one of them. So I'll wait.
I agree. I felt that way. I'm like, I got to pay Disney Plus pay for the movie.
Right. Like, and I mean, it wasn't, it's not like Disney Plus is an astronomical fee. It's just like, I'll just wait. I'll just wait. So
it is weird because I didn't feel that way about Bill and Ted.
Right. Oh my God. I haven't seen it yet. Don't ruin it. I haven't seen it yet.
I loved it.
It was really good. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, I love the first two, so
I loved it, and my son watched it with me, and he loved it. He never seen the first two.
Okay, so because I don't think my husband's seen the first two, but I love the first two. So, okay,
I recommend it. I thought it was really good. A lot of good callbacks to the first two. It feels like a Bill and Ted for this generation, so I liked it a lot.
Awesome. Okay. I will definitely have to put that on the list. I want to see it so bad. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay.
Definitely. All right. Let's talk more about you now. How did you start this podcast? What got you into podcast in the first place?
Okay. Well, that's that goes way back. So like I said, I'm a huge nerd. And I started, I guess I just like grew up in a family of like giant nerds. And like, so like my family, like my parents, instead of reading, like, I don't know, like Cinderella or like other, like all those other stories, like to their kids when they were at bed and like going to like for nighttime stories, my dad read me C.S. Lewis's The Chronicles of Narnia. And so we would read a chapter a night, and that became like our thing. Like that's how I got like introduced to books. And so that was my kind of introduction to the world of fantasy.
I have to ask you this then before you go on. Have you ever seen the old cartoon movie of that?
Absolutely. Yes.
That was my first time ever hearing of that as a kid, and I loved that movie so much.
Right.
It's so good.
So good. I loved him. I loved them. I loved all of it. The whole thing. I loved it. But that was like really my introduction into like the fantasy like worlds was C.S. Lewis. And then as I got older, I got into like Tolkien. And then My parents actually introduced me to Harry Potter, and that was kind of the first series, like fantasy series, that I would say like I discovered like on my own. Like it was one of those things where it was like, I want this, I want to read this. This is like my series that I have to myself. Well, fast forward, I believe it was like in between when the fifth Harry Potter book came out and like the sixth one. So when Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince came out, it was a long period of time. There was a long period of time there, and I was like looking. I'd already read them a bunch of times. Like I was like, I don't know. Like I already know what happens. Like I just want to know like what's going to happen next. And I got an iPod, and I was like, I'm one of those like weirdos that like has to like figure all this stuff out. Like I go through and I'm like, what does this app do? What does all this stuff do?
Yeah.
And if you had, I don't know if your listeners know, like for the younger people out there. So there used to be these things called iPods, and there were like bricks.
Yes.
And they were silver on the back, and they were either white or black on the front. And there was a little like dial, like a circle that you would turn, and you would like you could change songs, go forward, go backward. If you hit the center button, that would like you click the album or whatever it was. Well, there were these categories on the screen, and one of them was podcasts. I had no idea what a podcast was. And because I'm curious, I was like, what is this? So I like looked it up, and I found I found these 2 Harry Potter podcasts, and that's how I got introduced to the podcast world. And I instantly fell in love with it. I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. And so I just like listened to those podcasts for, I don't know, forever, until I was like 19, like 18 or 19, like those, like only those specific podcasts. And then I kind of like went away from podcasts for a while. I kind of forgot about them because I was like just doing other things in my life. And then recently, I guess time that I stopped listening to like 2015, there were a whole bunch more podcasts now. And I started like sort of venturing out to see like what other kind of podcasts were out there other than just like my little niche of like fantasy podcasts. And I found a whole bunch of other podcasts, and I was like, okay, I love listening to podcasts. I listen to podcasts more than I listen to music. This can't be that hard. Like, there's got to be a way that I can figure out how to do this podcast thing myself. And I did. And so that's how I like, and I just started, I like got all the equipment, and I started throwing around ideas. And originally the podcast that I was going to have, it was going to be me and my mom. We were going to be co-hosts together, but we don't live like, she doesn't have a lot of time to do that. So it's my podcast, but she comes on sometimes as a guest. So
That's cool.
that's how
That's really
that
cool.
started. Yeah.
So where did you get the name from for the podcast?
The Manic Pixie Weirdo. Okay. So so it's a play on there are these different like movie tropes. There are different types of female characters in films and television.
Yes.
And one of them is like the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, which is that like character. I don't know, have you ever seen like The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So like Kate Winslet's character in that movie is a Manic Pixie Dream Girl. And basically what the Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope is this like this person, this woman that comes into, you know, the plot that will kind of throw everything around and sort of flip your world upside down to like make you like look at things differently in a different perspective, or do like these wild, crazy, quirky things that you're just like, what is going on? Like this, but like somehow they're always happy. Sometimes somehow they're always happy, and they can always look on like the optimistic side of things, and they can, they just look at things in a very weird and fun, like unique way. And they're considered like sort of the kind of like the Tinkerbell or like the, you know, the fairy godmother of the whole situation, where they come in and they help the main character, usually a male character, realize like their full potential and realize like what, you know, like don't take life that seriously. Like it's not that serious. Just live your life and do what you want.
Like the girl from Weird Science.
Yes. But then the weirdo is a play on another girl female trope character who is considered like the weird girl, the loner person, the person that like that quiet shy person in the corner that, you know, you don't really know what she's about, but like then when she talks you're like, oh, she's like super smart, or she's like really pretty, or like she's that, you know, she's that girl in, you know, all the bad 90s movies where like she takes her glasses off and then like
she's just incredibly hot.
Yeah, like that's her. So I just like, well, screw it, I'll just put them both together, and that's the thing, that's gonna be what it is.
That trope always drove me crazy because
Right, so unrealistic.
anytime you see these movies, you're like, this girl's been going to school for 3 years and nobody noticed that she's incredibly hot.
Nobody?
They just saw these goofy glasses like, yeah, she's just a dog. She's ugly. Like, what are you talking about?
What? Well, but now glasses are hip again. Yeah. Now glasses are hot again. So it's like, I don't know, you guys. I can't keep up.
It always drives me crazy because, like, the same thing with Superman.
Yeah.
It's this big, muscular, handsome guy. He's just with glasses. Like, oh,
right.
That's just lowly Clark Kent. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't understand. Like, yeah, that was always something that I was like, I feel like that's just, there's no way. Like, you've seen me with glasses on. I don't look that different from when I'm wearing contacts. Like, it's not, you know.
It's not been a situation like, oh, this guy's completely unattractive with glasses on.
Totally different.
But when he takes them off.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, that's not how it works. I mean, maybe if you had the mask, like the Jim Carrey mask, like you might be able to make an argument, but no, not when you like that whole thing where they take their glasses off and then like the hair falls down, and it's like, I mean, what did you like? I don't like. She didn't have a bob before. What did you think was happening? I don't.
It always drives me crazy. Like,
yeah,
come on.
I agree. It's just. But yeah, so that's how I just like put them together. I was like, I like both, so why have one when you can have both?
I agree. So let them know what your podcast is about for those who don't know.
Okay, my podcast is about relationships, but it's not like, you know, your typical relationships with like your mom or your dad or your sister or your spouse. It's all about just all of the different kinds of relationships that you have in your life. So like your relationship, like I did one on my relationship with anxiety because I have like severe acute anxiety. Well, that was redundant. I have acute anxiety. Severe acute. I just said two things that mean the same thing. But then I also did one like with my mom, and we did like our relationship with casinos. And so we talked about like how that became something that we like to do together. Like it's our thing that we do together, and, you know, kind of what we do and how we do it, and who we are. Like we're the cheerleaders at the casino. We want everybody to win. You know, we don't really care if it's just us or, you know, if we win or if we lose. Like we're there for entertainment. And then I did another one with you where we talked about like racism and the police brutality. And so it's kind of, you know, we do serious stuff, but also I try to kind of like keep it light with like some fun ones. You know, I had a woman on who's from Australia, and we talked sex work is legal in Australia. And so we talked about like her experience and her relationship with that as her job. And so I try to keep it light, but it's about all the different kinds of relationships, not just like your platonic relationships that you would just like normally think about.
So how did you come up with that unique concept? 'Cause I like the concept of it. I always like the concept of when you first had me. You want to be like, oh, this is pretty cool when you put it in that aspect and perspective.
Oh, well, I don't know. I've been in like therapy for a really long time, and I love therapy. I'm a huge advocate for therapy. If you feel like you need to go to therapy, do it. I highly recommend it. But it's just one of those things where like as I sort of like grew into sort of who I am. I think I'm still growing into who I am, but I started to begin to realize that like there are a lot of different kinds of relationships that we have in our lives that are outside of like with other people. Like, so I have a relationship with myself, but I also have a relationship with like my dog. I have a relationship with my phone. I have a relationship with um like what I like to drink, like beverages, like sometimes, and relationship with music, relationship with movies. And there's just all these different kinds of things that I began to notice in my own life that I have a relationship with that I didn't really notice before. And I was like, huh, like that would be, and I thought it was interesting. And I was like, well, we'll just throw it out there and see what happens. So
I agree. I think it's an interesting concept. I think it's working for you.
I like it. It's very new. We're very new. We have like 9 people that listen, but we're very, very new. So it's okay.
Well, that's the fun thing about podcasting in terms of you start off your first year, and I know this from experience.
Yeah, you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah. So it's like you start your first year, and a lot of people come into podcast again thinking they're going to break out and do 1 million listens the first episode. That's not how it works. You come in the first episode, you're going to get maybe you get a boost or something like that. Then the next episode, you're not going to get that same boost, and you just keep working, keep building that audience till that loyal audience is there. And it's work in terms of you're going to constantly always going to build that audience and work on your craft and get better. You're not going to don't expect to be the podcast master on your first go around. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to learn from the mistakes, and you're going to get better, and you're going to get more people to support your podcast because of that. I think you're going to learn as you get into it. You'll know when you're doing good because people will start critiquing you on your podcast.
Yeah, and that's what I'm like super excited about. Like I love it when I love that. I love it when I get to a point where I'm like, I feel I'm important enough to where you're telling me what I'm doing wrong. Oh, yeah, like that makes me excited.
It's cool because there's different critiques you'll get in terms of you may get somebody who say, "Oh, your podcast sucks." You always have one of those type of people, or you may have somebody like, "Hey, I was listening to the episode, and at this point right here, something dropped out, and I couldn't hear something."
Yeah, see, but to me, that, like the second one, that's constructive criticism. That's the kind of stuff that I love to listen to. That's the kind of stuff that, like, I want to know. Please let me know. Tell me all of those things. But the first one that you said, like, your podcast just sucks. Like, okay, well, then don't listen. Like, it's fine. You're not going to hurt my feelings. There's multiple other, like, just, it's fine.
You're always going to get that.
I'm just not for you, and that's okay.
I think that's the most important thing to learn, that you're not going to be for everybody. And one thing I always tell podcasts, especially when they're young in the game, communicate and talk to other podcasters, because those are the ones who are going to champion you the most. Whether it's have you on their podcast to promote you, or they come on your podcast. But when you build that relationship and that core with them, it helps you so much. And you learn a lot of things from it as well. Like they'll give you tips on certain things to make your podcast sound better, to get more listeners and things like that. So communicate.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's when I got into that group that we met on Twitter, I was like, oh my gosh, I have like other people. And I've definitely reached out to like several people. So and everybody's so nice. Oh my gosh. Everybody in the podcasting community is so nice. And like everyone's super willing to like help and like share tips and stuff, which is super fun and like really awesome. Cause I have like I said, I have like social anxiety, like really bad social anxiety. I'm that kind of that shy, quiet person that's like, oh, I don't really know how to like handle this. But everybody's like, no, like here, let me help you. Like, let me tell you what's going on. And it's so awesome.
So let me ask you this, since you brought it up multiple times. I want to ask you this. How do you deal with your social anxiety doing podcasts? I know a lot of times it's either you by yourself or you're recording with somebody. It can be difficult at times, don't you think?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've done a couple, well, like several, where it's just me talking, which is fine. Obviously I don't have, like anybody else here, like my dogs are here, but that's different. But most, especially since I guess I kind of got into it sort of like at the perfect time. And I kind of hate to say that a little bit. I feel like it's a little bit insensitive because I started sort of like right when COVID hit. And so people haven't been able to like come to me. And so we've had to do it over Zoom or over Skype or something. And so that sort of alleviates a lot of the like the social anxiety of the whole thing, because it's like I'm still by myself, like in a comfortable space. I'm just able to talk and communicate and do it. Um, like but virtually, and so there is that different feel. I've done it like with my mom once, and I kind of don't think that counts because she's my mom, but um but yeah, I kind of got into the podcasting thing like sort of at the perfect time for me, because it was because of COVID. It sort of limited people to having to do it virtually, instead of me having to freak out of like, oh my god, someone's coming over, now I have to clean the whole house, and I have to clean, and I have to make sure everything's perfect. And so that's helped a lot with the anxiety part.
I think you brought up an interesting topic, the fact that COVID has opened the doors for podcasters everywhere in terms of how I can't lie. Because of COVID, it's a lot easier to book people for your podcast because everybody's just at home.
Oh yeah. Well, and but also now there's like no excuse. Like now that like not for anybody else, but like for me, like I don't have an excuse now to be like, oh, I can't do it. Like, well, what else am I gonna, like what else am I supposed to like this is kind of the whole deal. Like this is how this works. And I don't really have an excuse to be like, oh, I can't, like, because I'm a huge flake. I like if somebody is like, oh, let's make dinner plans, I'm like, yeah, sure, it sounds like a great idea at the time, but then I'm like, I'm the person that texts like an hour before and is like, can we not, like, but because of COVID, it's like totally eliminated all of that, because it's like, no, we like, it's a thing, we can do this now, I don't even have to leave my house, it's so perfect.
I like that you said that. I'm the opposite. People are calling me for dinner plans like, tell you, I'm not going to do that.
Well, I'm one of those people where like it sounds like a super great idea, but then like the day of, I'm like, oh, dang it. Like I'm like, I forgot, or dang it, I really don't want to go. But like if you cancel dinner plans with me, or like what, or if like we can't go do whatever, I'm the person on the other end of the line going, yes. Like you absolutely do not feel bad. It's totally fine.
So let me ask you this. How have you been coping with everything during these times of the pandemic and COVID? Because I feel like it affects people in different ways. And especially if you have social anxiety or things like that, it can affect you in positive or negative ways, depending on how you look at it.
Oh yeah. Well, I kind of I not only come from a family of like huge nerds, but we're also like very introverted people just in general. Like my mom likes to say that the reason that she keeps their house a mess is so that she has an excuse not to invite people over. Um, and so I'm already kind of an introverted person. Like I'm not a big, like if I go to the grocery store, like that's it, that's all I'm doing. Like I'm only going to the grocery store. That's the one place I'm going that day. I'm not leaving my house for anything else. And so when COVID kind of hit and everyone was like, you have to self-isolate, first of all, I already work from home. Everything that I do is at home anyway, so it wasn't really that big of a deal to me. I was just kind of like, oh, it's a thing that like now they're just telling me I have to be at home instead of me like wanting to just be at home. I don't know, but like COVID seems like an extrovert's problem more than an introvert's problem. Like,
I agree.
So for those of us that are introverts, we're like, I mean, okay. But I feel like if you're an extroverted person, like naturally, then you're probably losing your mind right now.
Yeah, it feels like people are coping with it in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say that's why you see the situations of people lashing out And
Yes.
you see the case of people getting mad because they have to wear a mask. I think they're not lashing out because they have to wear a mask. I think it's more so that they're frustrated and stressed out because they don't know how to respond to this. This is something that we've never really experienced.
Right.
And it's taking a toll on a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I definitely think that it's something that well, first of all, you can't, it's not something that like you can prepare for. Like, it's not something that, it's definitely not something that like, like you can't be like, okay, I have like a mortgage due and blah, blah, like all this, like I have these bills to pay and I have all this stuff to do. Um, oh, yeah. And don't forget, like the pandemic is going to happen and then we're going to be, like you can't plan for something like this. And so I think sort of the panic of, there's always the fear of the unknown of like what's going to happen, especially with the news media and just like, you know, social media, just everything. Like it all seems so sort of, you listen to one spectrum of stuff and it's like, everything's fine, it's all going back to normal. But then there's the other side of it where it's the total opposite, where it's like, we're all gonna die and everything's horrible. And it's really confusing to like try and navigate those waters of like, well, what do I do? So there's that uncertainty coupled with the level of fear of just not really understanding what the thing is that we're supposed to be afraid of, especially since you can't see it. And then on top of that, there are all these like rules that people are like, well, now you have to stay inside, you have to wear a mask, you have to, do all this and all this and all this stuff. And it just seems like it's just piled, and it piled up and piled up and piled up. And now we're getting to a point where like the Jenga tower is about to fall.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with that, definitely. Let me ask you this. I want to get to a fun question.
Okay.
What is your dream role?
Dream role. Like what? Like in a
Either
movie?
in a
Like,
movie or voice acting. If a director was coming to you right now, like, hey, we have this role open, you can take it. Whether voice acting or in a movie, what would it be?
okay, I have two.
Okay.
If I can have two. Okay, the first one would be like, I would love, 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 love to be in the MCU. I would love it. I don't even care in what aspect. Make me like a CGI character. I don't care. I would love to be in the MCU.
That'd be cool.
And then the second, I guess, would be, I would love to have written a script and then taken it, and I would love to be an actress in a script that I wrote.
That would be cool.
That would be my other like dream role. I don't know what that role would be exactly, but that would just like a script that I wrote and then being able to act as a lead or a supporting actress in a script that I wrote, I think would be awesome.
Now I have to ask this. What kind of script would it be?
Well, I'm not funny, so it wouldn't be a comedy. It would definitely have to be a drama. But yeah, I'm not funny, so I can't write comedy. I have a lot of respect and reverence for people who are in the comedian, like who are in the comedy world, because that to me is the hardest sort of niche that there is in Hollywood. And so it would just be a lot easier to be dramatic. So it would be a dramatic role.
I like that. Okay, so let's do this then. What voice actor or actress role would you want to get as your dream role?
Well, if the video game thing works out, I think that would be so freaking cool. That would be so much fun. Or if I could do like be a Disney character, that would be fun. Because cool. I grew up loving Disney, and I'm just like a huge like Disney fan. I would love to be like an animated Disney character.
That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be fun. I don't know how well I could like do with like the singing part, but I think it would be a lot of fun to do. just like be a princess or something. Or even like the evil queen if they need someone. I'll do that too.
That sounds cool.
It would be so fun.
Anything else before we go?
Not really. Not that I can think of. Please come back on mine because we had a lot of fun.
Anytime you want me to come on, just let me know.
Absolutely. That was so fun. Just stay safe, everyone. Please stay safe. Oh, and you can email me at manicpixieweirdo@protonmail.com. Check us out on Twitter, mpweirdo. That's the Twitter handle at mpweirdo. Or you can find us through just Google us. Just Google us. There's the website and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's it. Just check us out and let me know what you guys think. And if you have any constructive criticism, I'm very willing and able to listen to it.
Yes. I always say it all the time on here. Support your indie podcasters. This is one of them. Check it out. Let them know if you like it. Be nice.
Yeah, be kind. Be kind and stay weird. That's what we say.
Be kind with your constructive criticism. But definitely check out our podcast. I think it's good. All right.
All right. Awesome.
Thank you for coming on. You've been awesome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
No problem at all. As always, Delvin Cox Experience, we are out. Peace.